Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into a real American classic, John Steinbeck of Mice and Men.
Hmm.
And like always, our mission is to kind of cut through everything and pull out the really key insights, the important stuff from our sources. Basically, give you a shortcut to feeling, well-informed about this incredibly powerful book.
It really is powerful.
It was published way back in 1937, set smack in the middle of the Great Depression. That backdrop, that time period, it feels essential.
Oh, absolutely.
So maybe the first big question is, okay, how does a story from, almost a century ago now, how does it still hit so hard today?
Well, I think that's part of Steinbeck's genius, really, of
Mm-hmm.
Mice and Men is such a cornerstone of American literary realism.
Right.
Steinbeck just had this incredible ability, this gift for capturing the stark reality of working class life, especially during those incredibly tough times.
He didn't just report it, though.
No, exactly. He wasn't just documenting struggle. He gave these characters such profound dignity. He wrote about people on the margins, but he really amplified their hopes, their vulnerabilities, the things that make them human. That's why it still connects, I think.
Yeah, and what a human story it is. I mean, at its absolute core of Mice and Men is about this really unique friendship. You could almost say radical friendship, maybe.
Between George Milton and Lennie Small.
Right. Two guys, itinerant workers, moving from ranch to ranch, always looking for the next job. But they have this one shared dream.
The dream, yeah. Owning their own little piece of land.
Living off the fat of the land, as they say. It sounds so simple, doesn't it?
Deceptively simple.
Yeah.
But for George and Lennie, it represents, well, everything. Freedom, safety, belonging. Stuff that was just so hard to find in their world.
And within that world, that kind of transient, sometimes pretty brutal ranch life, Steinbeck populates it with these unforgettable characters.
Yeah, even the ones who aren't on stage for long, they leave a real mark. They each show a different side of that Depression experience.
So you've got George Milton.
Right, George.
Yeah.
He's the sharp one, quick-witted, very protective of Lennie, but you also feel the weight of that responsibility on him.
Definitely. And then there's Lennie Small.
Ah, Lennie. Physically huge, incredibly strong, but with the mind of a child. His innocence, combined with that strength, is what constantly gets them into trouble.
That dynamic is just central. But the others on the ranch, they're not just background noise.
Not at all. You have Candy.
The old ranch hand, yeah. Lost his hand, feeling kind of useless.
And terrified of being thrown out when he can't work anymore. He sees George and Lennie's dream as his last chance, really. A flicker of hope.
And then you have the opposite end, maybe Curly.
Curly, the boss's son, aggressive, insecure, always trying to prove himself, usually by picking fights.
A real source of tension. And Curly's wife. Famously, she doesn't even get a name.
Right, just Curly's wife. Which says a lot in itself, doesn't it? She's isolated, lonely, desperate for attention, for a different life. Another character whose dreams just feel tragically out of reach.
It's heartbreaking, really.
And then there are others who bring different qualities, like Slim.
Slim, right. The prince of the ranch. He's got this quiet authority, this wisdom.
Yeah, he's respected. He seems to understand things on a deeper level. Kind of a moral compass, maybe, in that pretty harsh setting.
And Crooks, we have to talk about Crooks.
Absolutely. Crooks is crucial. The black stable hand, old, physically disabled. He's isolated because of his race, forced to live separately. His character just lays bare the intense prejudice of the time.
It's so direct. Steinbeck doesn't pull any punches there.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He crafts these people so carefully. They're not just characters. They feel like reflections of a whole society wrestling with itself.
So through these lives, these interactions, Steinbeck starts exploring these really big universal ideas. This is where it gets really interesting, I think. What are those deeper themes he's digging into?
Well, maybe the most obvious, and like you said, maybe the most radical, is this idea of friendship versus loneliness.
Right.
George and Lennie's bond. It's like this small light against this overwhelming darkness of loneliness that seems to affect almost everyone else on the ranch. Candy, Crooks, Curly's wife, they're all so isolated.
It's like their friendship is an act of defiance against that loneliness.
It is. It defies the sort of brutal individualism that was almost forced on migrant workers. But, and this is the paradox, that same bond, the thing that gives them hope, also makes them incredibly vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's a burden for George. It's dangerous.
That's such a key point. It's not just simple companionship. It involves huge risk, huge sacrifice.
Exactly. And tied right into that is the American dream.
Ah, yes. The big word.
For George and Lennie, that little farm isn't just about money. It's about dignity, stability, having a place where they belong, where they make the rules.
But Steinbeck shows how fragile that dream was, especially then.
Absolutely, he's unflinching about it. For working class people during the Depression, that dream, which is supposed to be core to American identity, was often just out of reach, constantly threatened by poverty, by prejudice, by just sheer bad luck. It could be destructive even chasing it.
Which leads right into those harsh realities you mentioned earlier, especially prejudice.
Yes, Steinbeck is incredibly direct about it. The racism, crooks' faces being segregated, talked down to, his basic humanity denied. It's brutal.
And Curly's wife, too, in a different way.
Definitely. The sexism, the objectification, she's dismissed, misunderstood, largely because she's a woman in that environment.
Yeah.
Her own dreams are just ignored or seen as trouble.
And Candy, with his age and disability.
Right. Fear of being useless, discarded. It's a really bleak picture of how society can treat vulnerability.
Yeah.
How these rigid social hierarchies just crush people in their hopes.
And Steinbeck uses his craft, his style, to make all this even more powerful, the symbolism, the way he writes.
Oh, absolutely. That green farm itself is such a powerful symbol. It's more than land, it's hope, security, belonging, this sort of shimmering ideal in a really bleak world. It's what keeps them going, even if it feels like a mirage.
And the animals, they seem important too.
Very much so. Lennie's love for soft things. The mice, the puppy, and how he accidentally kills them. It's innocent, but it foreshadows the bigger tragedy. It's quite chilling, really.
Yeah.
And Candy's old dog. Remember how Carlson insists on shooting it because it's old and smelly and no good to itself?
Ugh, yes, that scene is rough.
It's brutal, but it's also a stark warning, isn't it?
Yeah.
It shows how easily the old, the weak, the vulnerable can just be gotten rid of in that world. It clearly echoes Candy's own fears.
And the language itself, Steinbeck's style, it's very distinctive.
It is. The dialogue is so simple, so direct, almost plain sometimes, but it's incredibly powerful.
Right, it doesn't feel overwritten.
Not at all. He uses repetition, these kind of simple phrases, almost like a ritual sometimes, especially when George describes the dream farm to Lennie. It makes the characters' emotions, their longing, their fears, just incredibly vivid and real. Very relatable, despite the simplicity.
So we've walked through this world Steinbeck created, the dreams, the harshness. But stepping back now, the really big question is still, why? Why does this story, born from the dust of the 1930s, still feel so immediate, so relevant to us now?
Yeah, that's a crucial question, isn't it? And maybe the unsettling answer is, how much has fundamentally changed? I mean, Of Mice and Men gives us these lasting insights into basic human relationships, that deep, almost primal need we have for connection, and the absolute devastation of loneliness.
That hasn't gone away.
Not at all. And it speaks volumes about inequality, doesn't it? The struggles of people on the margins, the way prejudice still operates, maybe in different forms, but it's still there. And just the sheer fragility of dreams when they run up against hard realities.
Economic hardship, social barriers.
Exactly. These themes aren't just historical artifacts from the Depression. They echo right through to today. The fight for dignity, for belonging, for justice. It's ongoing. It's timeless.
What an incredible journey back into Of Mice and Men. It really is a story that, yeah, it's set in a specific time and place, but it offers these profound truths about just being human. It really makes you think about connection, how it can be our greatest strength, maybe the thing we need most, but also, as we saw with George and Lennie, potentially our greatest vulnerability when those dreams meet reality.
And maybe stepping back even further, the novel kind of pushes us to think about our own dreams. Not just what we chase, but what compromises we make, what sacrifices are involved.
Right.
What does hope really mean? What does home really mean when everything else feels uncertain or stripped away? It kind of leaves you with this question, doesn't it? In our own lives, what makes a dream truly well-tended? Is it just about achieving it for ourselves? Or is it about how it connects us, how it builds something more than just individual gain?
That's a powerful thought to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We really hope you'll continue your own explorations of great literature and the ideas that shape our world.